What's up, people? Punch here. So I'm going to talk about this really quick. It will be like about 5-6 minutes in total as to what is going on with Cygnus Enterprises. I have had games in the past, in early access especially, to where they would be like, we're doing great things, we're going to make some awesome stuff happen, this is our game, this is the mechanics, everything else, we want to do a roadmap, all that different type of stuff to get people to sucker into their like projects and buy their stuff up, like their plushies and everything. Origami 2 did the same thing. That being said, what's going on with Cygnus Enterprise and why is it getting review bombed? It's for good reason. They put out a farewell letter, just like Linksworks did with Origami, except they're completely done with Cygnus Enterprise. It went from early access to 1.0, supposedly, and a lot of people thought that they fixed a lot of the FPS issues and problems in combat and management of the like buildings and doing all like the, I guess like the base building mechanics. They didn't do shit. What they did is they decided, well, thank you for your money, but you're not getting a refund, so you can keep our game, you just can't buy it after July 30th, which is essentially the deadline from when you could buy the game still. $25 on Steam, and I used to say, hey, people should go buy it and check it out. What I did not know is what they're going to do with this shit. And not many people that play early access games, that buy the games, whether it be in development or out of it, know that some developers will just see you later. And there was another game I had played that's very underrated called Victory Road, to where you played as a coach and you were like building up an AI boxer that was essentially progressively getting better and better and better, doing combo moves and doing super moves and so on and so forth, getting endurance and footwork and strength and everything up there, and they'd go off like base diets and then being able to build up strength that way. That game got abandoned in 2020, I think 1 or 2, and I have yet to see it, and I think it's still in early access. Another game, Thunder Tier 1, made by Krafton, was also abandoned after they did like one update in 2022 or 2023, and then never heard from like ever from that point. The other thing is Origami 1 and 2. Yeah, they made Origami 1 and Origami 2, but after they were done, they just said, hey, we're kind of, strapped for cash, we can't do this anymore, something or other, see you later. And then they shut their doors, and nobody heard from them since. So it's difficult to see what games will stay and what games won't when people like, myself or somebody else goes in early access or even Kickstarters beforehand and just hope that maybe they will continue on the life cycle of a game and not screw it over. Like games like Dead Cells and Darkest Dungeon and a lot of the indie games that you see nowadays that are roguelikes that get like constant updates. Those are the ones you'd stick with. But again, it's difficult to tell you which ones are going to be staying and which ones don't because it's just out of the blue and never even notice. As you can see here with Cygnus Enterprise, the main reason why I do not like this game, and I'd rather have my $25 back, is because, one, the FPS is terrible. I had this on the lowest settings and I'm still dealing with buffering problems and rendering issues. That's just combat. When you get into base building, like you do the whole management of the cantina or the research base or just building up your stuff entirely, it is so laggy and unbearable that I just had to turn it off, uninstall it, and forget about it. But hey, we got to keep the game that we bought for $25, even though it's not finished, polished, or even fixed. And this is what we get to keep for all our efforts in trying to support and back a developer that everybody thought was decent, only turned out to be a scummy cash grab asshole. And that's essentially how it is in early access. You don't see it a lot, but you do see it every once in a while, if not kind of occasionally, to where they have like 1 or 2 developers that are like indie, or they'll have like a small team and they don't have enough money or something else happens, so they come with an excuse and tell it to you, the person that bought it, and then be like, oh, well, we couldn't do this, or we couldn't develop this thing, or we couldn't add this, and then they're gone. They don't tell you anything else after that. And there have been other games like that too. That being said, it's very difficult to know which games will stay and which ones won't in early access, and that's just why a lot of people give it stigmas, which is, they don't want to play a early access and development game because they know things like that might happen. But then again, AAA titles are even worse about it because, one, AAA studios should be making games that are already full, no problems or anything, except they do it like way worse than early access games, charge maybe triple the amount, like $60, $70, for something that should have been finished and fixed, and it doesn't. It's just garbage. Regardless, we got what we got, and after the message was sent out to everybody that bought the game, they're going to be shutting their doors, and July 30th, it'll be delisted from Steam. So just be aware that if people, or you're going on there and they're like, why is it getting negative reviews or getting review bombed? That is the main reason why. A lot of people are angry that they're not getting their $25 back, but instead we get an unfinished, unpolished game that you could barely even play, let alone look at. And that's what I want to talk about today a little bit, because I did talk about it in a good light. I like the mechanics in-game, the base building, the combat, if it was workable and playable. Sadly, it is not. Anyway, I've been One Nut Punch. I'll see you later in the next one.